Good morning. This is Pastor Jay from Messiah Lutheran Church. I was reading this morning in Psalm 66, and there was a passage in there that really struck out to me. So I want to read just a little bit of Psalm 66, beginning at verse 8. Praise our God, O peoples. Let the sound of his praise be heard. He has preserved our lives and kept our feet from slipping. For you, O God, tested us. You refined us like silver. You brought us into prison and laid burdens on our backs. You let men ride over our heads. We went through fire and water, but you brought us to a place of abundance. There is no question in my mind that God is a God of abundance, that God created a world that is good and that has everything that we need to thrive, to flourish, to live full lives. In John chapter 10, Jesus says that he came that we could have life and have it abundantly. Some translations have that as he came that we could live full lives. So I truly believe that God's intent is that our needs are met not just so we survive, but so we thrive. But I also believe that we are truly in this moment being refined. This is a difficult time. We're going to come out of it differently than we came in. The world will be a different place 18 months or 3 years from now. And in some sense, we get to decide how it's going to be differently. We can use this time to examine our values, to examine our beliefs, to examine our behaviors, to think about what we would like the world to be like, what we would like our lives to be like, how we would like our lives to be different. And then we can take steps to make that a reality. Now, I don't believe that the United States was ever a Christian nation in the way that some people use that phrase. For example, many of our founders were deists, meaning they believed in a creating God. This is the idea of a watchmaker who made a watch and wound it up, but then leaves it alone. They didn't believe in a God who acted in the world in the way that the Bible tells us God acts in the world. Thomas Jefferson, for example, was a student of both Greek ethics, which influenced Thomas Aquinas, for example, the great Catholic scholar of the 1300s. And he was also a great student of Christian ethics. He wrote his own or edited his own version of the New Testament, where he took out the parts he didn't believe, but he left in Jesus' ethical teachings. I think that as a nation, not all of us, but as a nation, we have lost that sense of ethics and simply live only for ourselves and for our own material gratification. During this time, we can begin to recover a sense of community and a sense of Christian ethics. Now, you could boil Christian ethics down to a very simple phrase, something like, love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself. Love and serve God and your neighbors, or love God, love one another. We serve a God who provides abundantly, and I believe in this time we have an opportunity to be refined in such a way that we become more loving of God and our neighbors. I'm actually seeing that in what's happening at Messiah, the way that people are reaching out for others, the way that we're providing food for the Caring Hands Food Pantry, the way that we are reaching out to take care of each other. We're becoming more loving perhaps in practice than we were. And we have this opportunity to examine what our priorities are. Because what else are you going to do if you're sitting at home, right? You have this opportunity to examine your priorities, examine your life, and come out of this time determined to love God and love one another. Thanks be to God.